Okay, so you're new to trucking or you're thinking about getting into it, and you're wondering, how do I actually get paid? Trucking isn't like product-based businesses or a coffee shop where the customer walks in and swipes their card and you can see the money right there instantly. Some loads actually can pay cash, but it's very uncommon. What you're actually going to run into most of the time is something called an invoice. For my beginners, an invoice is a piece of paper that you generate either through QuickBooks or a different software that you then give to the company that you moved the freight for, saying that they owe you money. You'll need other things like a rate confirmation, which you would have signed before the load, agreeing to the terms of how much they'll pay you for how many miles you go. Rate confirmations will have all the other information too, like where your pickup spot and your delivery will be at as well. And right now when fuel prices are high, it may even have a fuel surcharge where they're paying you a little bit more money because they knew fuel is more expensive. But you'll submit that invoice to them, and then it'll either have net 15, net 30, net 45, net 60, or even up to net 90, meaning that they'll pay you in that amount of days, 15, 30, 60, 45, or 90. For new businesses, that can be difficult because if you have to run for 90 days without getting paid for it, that's a lot of money in fuel and other expenses. So the way that you handle that is something called a factoring company. With a factoring company, you give something called a notice of assignment to the company that you're moving the freight for. Notice of assignment lets the company that you move the freight for pay the factoring company. And then you'll get the rate con and then the BOL, which the BOL is the bill of lading. It's what you sign at the pickup and delivery spot that is the shipper and the receiver confirming that you picked it up and dropped it off correctly with no issues. So then you'll get that BOL and that rate con and maybe some other paperwork and then give that to the factoring company. Then your factoring company will be the ones that wait that time to get paid by the shipping company, and your factoring company will actually pay you out same day or next day, depending on what your agreement is. This for a percentage of the total load though. So sometimes it's anywhere from 1.5% to 3%. We get 1.5% because we also have a fuel card through our factoring company, which is OTR. Whenever you have more cash though, and you can avoid factoring, it can be better because then you don't have to pay that 1.5% anymore. So now when you start your trucking business, you know how to get paid. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, and I'll either answer you in the comments or I'll make a video on it. You can also check out my profile for other videos to help you get started in the trucking industry.